I've worked for Framework for 16 years, just over. What led me to work for Framework? I'd seen the website, I'd seen some reviews. It felt like it was the sort of organisation that would fit with my personal values. It felt more inclusive, like there was an opportunity for, there was an inclusivity feeling about it. So that was really the start. Previous to that, previous housing related support organisations I worked for felt like they weren't very person centred, and Framework seemed to feel like, even though I hadn't started working for Framework yet, and this was prior to applying for a role, it felt like the service user was put more at the centre of that support rather than somebody else doing something to somebody else. Do you know what I mean? So it was that inclusivity. And also, to be honest, it felt like there was opportunity as well to be able to develop myself and to maybe make some changes within the systems. The systems that are often have a lot of barriers to the service users we work with. Many come, with very diverse and complex needs. And there are a lot of barriers in the way for those people to be able to move on with their lives. My job role primarily is to oversee all of the framework services, housing related support services in Lincolnshire. So I work across 9 districts and boroughs of Lincolnshire, including North Lincolnshire and North East Lincolnshire. And I support and supervise the service managers for those services that work in those areas. I suppose my role, like I've said, primarily is to oversee the contracts within those boroughs and districts. But it's also to make sure that we're contract compliant, that we're doing what the local authorities are funding us to do, which is provide high quality housing related support, and do it in a way that they want us to, really. But I will say on the back of that I'm not averse to challenging some of the ideas that they come up with and think are a good idea at the time. I'm quite transparent and honest with them if I think that's not the way forward. I spend a lot of the time within the week working within services because I think it's important for me, who overseeing all these contracts within Lincolnshire, to have an understanding at ground level about the decisions I'm making with commissioners, how that's impacting on the service delivery, and if it's workable. So the way I manage the contracts and the services is that I'm very inclusive of all the managers and team leaders. So if there's a big decision to be made on any changes that may be happening regarding our service delivery, I always confer with them first to find out whether that's going to be workable and to take their ideas on board and meld them together. So it's a joint approach. It's not just me doing and saying, this is what we're doing, deliver it. I'm saying we're doing it together. So I see myself as a part of a team. I'm not a standalone. My team, well, we're all part of a team. So my reports, the people that report directly to me are the service managers, but the team leaders and the staff and the service users are all part of that one big team. That's how I see the Lincolnshire housing related support, because although we're delivering a service to our service users or with our service users, it's really important to get their feedback and for them to be involved with how a service works, That's not, some of the ideas maybe that they come up with are not always workable and not realistic, but it doesn't mean to say that we can't listen to that, listen to those ideas. And a lot of the time we put, there'll be some really good stuff coming from service users, and we're then able to implement different ideas within our service delivery.